Welcome to Inside the Lane, a focus segment of the Our Parking Industry podcast hosted by TPN.
In this segment, we explore the ideas, innovations, and conversations shaping the parking industry, from industry partners to timely topics impacting the parking experience.
These short episodes create space to spotlight organizations, share perspectives, and dive into what's new and noteworthy across our industry.
Let's step inside the lane.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Our Parking Industry podcast. This is a special episode of Inside the Lane. I'm Krista Olien, and I have the special guest, Bart Christenson, here joining us today from Tire Tag. Hi, Bart. Can you tell us a little bit about Tire Tag, what you guys do, how you serve the parking industry, and what makes you important this day and age in parking?
Hi, Krista. So obviously, first, want to thank you for taking the time to have us on the show here this week. So the Tire Tag, as much as anything, we are a citation management software company that does have a self-release immobilization device as part of our IP. So, one of the big things, a lot of times, paper citations do not get paid at a super high rate, especially when it comes to private operators. And so we offer a very quick, easy, lightweight option to be able to immobilize a vehicle with an extremely high pay rate, but still very simple for the violator as well as the operator.
So, in your experience, how has Tire Tag been revolutionary, or how has it changed since you started the company? So since Tire Tag began, have there been any adaptations or changes in the model that was first developed through the development process?
As far as the actual device itself and then the software, obviously, again, there's always updates to the software, listening to the customers and making improvements, different functionalities, if you will. But again, really, we created a solution that is very quick, easy for deployment on the operator side, but also very quick and easy for the violator. We really wanted that violator to be able to come out, feel their pain, but get back on their day within 2 to 3 minutes.
The last thing you want is angry parkers, right? And like you said earlier, the paper ticket is less successful than having this physical barrier that they then have to interact with to alleviate, and kind of resolve their situation. So I appreciate that and understand the mechanics of it. So can you explain how exactly, if I were a parker, a bad parker, I made a bad choice, what would my day look like if I was hit with a Tire Tag?
Yeah, absolutely. So Tire Tag simply wraps around one or two of the spokes on the driver's side front wheel. We have a window decal that goes on the driver's side window. So when the violator, in this case, Krista, if you walked out, you would see the window decal. You look down and see the device on that driver's side front wheel. You could either type in the payment portal URL or scan a QR code. It takes you to the landing page. From there, you enter in either the 6-digit serial number on the device that's on your vehicle or the license plate of your vehicle. That pulls up the full immobilization record, and from there you make your payment. As soon as you make your payment, you get the 5-digit release code of the device directly on your screen, and you also get a full email receipt with the release code directly in the subject line, all the documentation of the immobilization record itself, the images, the time, everything's tracked down to the second. Within that email receipt, you also receive an image of the drop box that's typically located directly on site and a detailed description on where that drop box is located. So once you make your payment, you remove the device, you walk and drop it off to the drop box on site, and you're back on with your day.
Amazing. Is there any type of vehicle that Tire Tag does not work on?
There are going to be certain wheels, right? I like to think in immobilization, there's nothing is 100%. So there are certain very solid wheels. They're very few and far between, but especially some of the older trucks and vehicles, there's not a single hole or spoke on the wheel. So in those cases, a Tire Tag's simply not going to be able to work.
So if I am a property manager or an asset owner of a parking facility or an operation, a parking management operation team, who are you guys working with? Are you working with the asset manager or the parking operator? Who do you usually develop the relationship with for Tire Tag deployment?
So honestly, across the country, it's kind of anyone and everyone, if you will. We do have some customers that are the direct property manager that are handling and issuing the Tire Tags. Some are contracting out through, the parking operator, if you will. We do have some security firms that'll actually contract directly with the property management firm to be able to go out and actually do the enforcement themselves. I would say probably 90% of the time it's going to be a private operator that is contracted directly from the asset owner.
Okay. I had the pleasure at one of the NPA events of meeting Sam. He has locations and different ventures up in the Northeast. And we connected because I met Bart at TPTA a few years ago and learned about tire tag for the first time. So that kind of reinvigorated the conversation around tire tag. So you alluded to across the country in your last response. Where all are you guys located? So I know you're deployed in Texas, which is where I'm located. I know
Right.
you guys are deployed in the Northeast. Where else?
So honestly, at this point in time, we're in between 40 and 42 states across the country. So it'd be a lot quicker for me to say where we're not.
Oh, that's such great news. That's great for
It,
our
it is
business.
definitely good. It's been fantastic growth over the last few years. So we're growing the organization.
Do you have any big plans for the future or any additions to the product or things coming up the pipeline?
But one of the biggest things we're focused on right now is just the integration aspect of things. To be able to make sure it's very easy for particularly the university sector, vertical, if you will, and municipality and parking authorities to be able to come in on the scoff law. So I think that's really where some of our future growth is really going to be occurring, just through those different verticals, the universities and the municipalities.
Amazing. So, have you been to a location where tire tag is not effective, whether it is not necessarily vehicle specific, but internet capabilities or different things like that? Is there an experience where tire tag hasn't been that effective and you've had to kind of adapt or overcome a challenge?
So as far as that's concerned, I mean, not a direct effect because our device itself is analog. So there's no connection
Mm,
to the device itself with the internet. So sometimes if it's a underground parking garage, there can be cell data issues. Now, most of our operators that are managing those underground parking garages essentially have a Wi-Fi setup already. So in that case, sometimes we've had to do some custom window decals to notify an individual, hey, if you're not able to connect to the internet on your phone to make the payment, then utilize the Wi-Fi to be able to get online and go to the payment portal and make your payment.
and so it's usually the customer's device, since tire tag is analog, the customer's device is maybe a hold up in those situations.
That would be it. We've seen a couple, especially in some of our tourist cities, if you will, when suddenly you have 100,000 people in a 2 square mile area. Data service gets a little spotty, but that is
Absolutely.
where we do also offer a 325 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year call center as well, where a
Mm.
violator can call in and be able to make their payment to get the release code to remove the device.
Okay, so there are different methods. If a Parker encounters a problem, they can call a phone number.
They do have the ability to call a phone number to process their payment. Absolutely.
Okay, very interesting. I love the idea that the tire tag itself is still analog. I've heard that term a whole lot recently. I actually at one of the TPTA events, the on campus at A&M, they were talking about the different bicycle challenges and bikes and e-bikes and things like that, and they referred to a classic bicycle as an analog bike, and I cracked up. So, analog is a big hot ticket name right now that's kind of getting applied to things that are a little more traditional. Thinking about bikes and that kind of thing, does tire tag work on bikes?
It can work on bikes. We have some communities, residential communities, in like the state of Florida, for example. And one, they had issues with e-scooters, but honestly, golf carts or what they refer to as
Mm,
LSV, low speed vehicles, where their residents, or honestly, a lot of them were short term rentals, vacation rentals, if you were, and they were
mhm.
parked golf carts all over the place. So they're LSVs all over, and so we were able to figure out a solution that worked to help, you know, create compliance. Because again, anytime you're really talking about enforcement, the goal is compliance. You don't want to have to utilize the tire tag.
Yeah, I mean, just the application itself, it feels like it can be really universal because of its simplicity, which is beneficial to the enforcement teams. At certain locations, do you have a ratio that you recommend? Like if you have 400 parking spaces, we recommend you have this many tire tags on site. Do you have a certain ratio that you lean into?
So typically we kind of recommend 10 tire tag devices per every 200 spaces on a lot. Now again, volume kind of speaks, right? Our tourist areas, especially if it's a payment required parking lot, you're going to have a little higher volume. We might increase what that ratio is, where maybe it is 10 for every 50 lots, because you don't have your regular commuters. You have a new traffic every day, every week.
Mm-hmm.
So again, as many you can have, 50 to 100 signs on a parking space. But unfortunately, those of us in parking know that not everyone likes to actually read the signs.
Yes, we definitely know that. Well, that's really great advice. So it depends on the market. It depends on who is parking in those
Yes.
facilities, on the ratio that's recommended, because might need more than the others. If I have a parking facility and I don't have a security team or an enforcement team,
Mhm.
what does that model look like?
So as far as that, we have some companies that are definitely willing to partner and actually go out and do the enforcement. There's actually an organization called Tagger that was originally a private operator that built a platform around the tire tag system. They offer some other
Oh.
options as well, but they offer a 1099 gig type of economy enforcement where they're bringing different individuals in and onto the sites to be able to provide enforcement utilizing the tire tag for those specific locations where you may not have your actual team on site.
That is a great resource. Are they nationwide as well, or are they located in a specific region?
They're nationwide as well. I believe the last time, I think they're in 80 plus markets at this point in time themselves.
What
So
a great partnership for you guys.
absolutely, they're definitely good friends.
All right. Well, if I am an asset owner, a property manager, or a parking operator, how can I find Bart Christenson or Tire Tag?
So website simple. It's tiretag.com, tiretag.com. My email address, or we have both a sales at tiretag.com or info at tiretag.com. And my email address is pretty simple as well. It's simply Bart, B-A-R-T, at tiretag.com.
Awesome. Well, if you need help with enforcement at your parking facility, please reach out to Tire Tag. They are a great resource and have assets all across the country. And thanks, Bart, for joining us to share about Tire Tag today. And we look forward to seeing you next time on the Our Parking Industry podcast. Thanks, everybody. The parking industry is always evolving, and so are the conversations around it.
So come back each month to Inside the Lane for insights, ideas, and solutions.
We invite you to follow, subscribe, and join TPN and featured vendors on social media to stay up to date.
Thanks for being with us inside the lane.